Stands for data build tool. And it's conceptually probably as simple as that sounds, honestly. I think the reason everyone is obsessed with it is because it's a simple solution to a super common problem. And to really explain this, I think we have to go back in time about 10 years, as big data was really becoming a super important thing. But people were not necessarily accustomed to the fact that you had all of these different sources, right? I can even remember myself working in a big corporate environment maybe 10-ish years ago, and you would have your tables nicely set up for you by IT. And as an analytics person, which I was at the time, you would go and you would use these tables and ta-da, you have your analytics, right? Now there's so much data coming from all these different places, and you really have to make sure that the data is talking to each other. And in order to do this, you have to create lots of sort of interconnected webs of tables and views and things like that to really get you to your end product or your end goal or your end table or whatever it is that you're going to be using. And when people started first doing this, there was lots of manual processes and things would fail and you wouldn't realize when they failed that it was affecting something downstream and then something after that. And so one little failure could affect 10 different things and break everything, really. And you wouldn't know about it and there wouldn't really be any way to control it. So what DBT did was really kind of come up with this term analytics engineering, which is sort of in vogue now. But what that means is sort of the concept of you're taking your data, you're making all of these intermediate tables and views to get to your endpoint, and you're doing that sort of in one controlled place, one sort of controlled environment where everything's talking to each other. All these dependencies are mapped out and visualized. You can execute tests and monitor things, and you're really kind of taking that problem that we used to have when data got huge and sources became huge and saying, all right, we need to get from point A to point Z. And instead of it being sort of the wild, wild west and no one ever knowing when or why something broke and just knowing that it was broken, now you can sort of trace back and try to control the flow all the way from A to Z and manage all the different inputs and make sure that everything is sort of set up and performing the way that you need it to. And that's really important now with the way and the size of data and the number of data sources. It's tough for a lot of people to live without. And I think that's why everyone's sort of obsessed with it.